The summit began with smiles, but ended with shock. In one unforgettable moment, Ibrahim Traoré grabbed Netanyahu by the collar and forced the world to face a truth it could no longer ignore. It began like every other summit. Cameras flashing, leaders smiling, scripted words echoing against glass walls. But this time, something cracked. The global broadcast was only halfway through when Ibrahim Traoré, the president of Burkina Faso, stepped to the podium. Calm, controlled, but with fire burning behind his eyes. Across the table sat Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, stone-faced, arms folded, waiting. The topic was Gaza. Once again, the room expected the usual diplomatic dance. Instead, Traoré leaned into the microphone and said, "To those who bomb hospitals and call it defense, history will not remember your borders. We will remember your silence." Gasps rippled through the hall. Some scribbled notes. Others froze in disbelief. Netanyahu smirked. Then he stood. He cut off Traoré mid-sentence, waving a hand dismissively. "Save the speech," Netanyahu snapped. "You represent a failed state, not a moral compass." The room fell deathly silent. That's when it happened. Traoré stepped down from the podium slowly, deliberately. His boots echoed in the silence. He walked right up to Netanyahu, stopping just inches away. And on live television, with the world watching, he grabbed Netanyahu by the collar. Not violently, not recklessly, but with the kind of steady force that makes a man look you in the eyes and realize you are not afraid. "You do not speak to Africa that way," Traoré said, his voice low, unwavering. "Not anymore." Gasps erupted into chaos. Security flinched. Cameras zoomed in. Interpreters dropped their headsets. And for a moment, just one unforgettable moment, the world saw the raw, unfiltered tension that had been building for decades. Back in the United States, cable networks broke into regular programming. At Mar-a-Lago, Donald Trump was watching. Reporters claim he turned to his aides and muttered, "This is war. And that African guy? He's not bluffing." Across social media, the moment exploded. Hashtags went viral. Hashtag Traoré Showdown. Hashtag Africa Rising. African youth flooded timelines with clips of the confrontation. Protesters poured into the streets in Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria, and beyond, chanting, "He spoke for all of us." Western media scrambled. Some called it a security breach. Others said Traoré's move was undiplomatic. But the streets didn't care about diplomacy. They cared about defiance. And Traoré didn't stop there. Later, at a press conference, he doubled down. "I did not touch a man," he declared. "I confronted an empire hiding behind one." No teleprompter. No apologies. Just truth, raw and terrifying to those who built the old order. Netanyahu, cornered in more ways than one, tried to spin the moment as provocation. But behind the scenes, leaks revealed Israeli diplomats were shaken. One admitted, "We expected resistance. We didn't expect courage." Meanwhile, Trump's reaction made headlines. He went live on Truth Social writing, "Netanyahu just got punked. Say what you want, but that Traoré guy, he's not playing games." The fallout reached the UN Security Council within hours. A session was called not because of war, but because of words. Words backed by a grip. A moment that cracked open the illusion of control. In Paris, they debated sanctions. In Brussels, they whispered about consequences. But in Abidjan and Dar es Salaam, they celebrated. Not because of violence, but because someone had finally stood up. Not in theory. Not in private. But in front of the world's most powerful man, and didn't blink. For decades, African leaders were told to bow. That day, one of them grabbed back. And in doing so, Ibrahim Traoré didn't just shake a man, he shook the system. Now, as the cameras roll and diplomats clean up the mess, the world is left with a question it's not ready to answer. What happens when Africa stops asking and starts leading? This was not a slip. This was not a stunt. This was the moment the script flipped. And the man who flipped it wore a red beret and carried the weight of a continent on his shoulders. So now, we turn to you, the people. Was Traoré right to stand up that way? Did the world need to witness it? Share your thoughts in the comments. Tell us where you're watching from, and whether this moment changed how you see power, truth, and leadership. This is Traoré Uprising. And the world is watching. And once again, to you, the global audience, should more leaders speak with that kind of courage? Drop your voice in the comments. Whether you're in Lagos, London, Accra, Doha, or Atlanta, this is Traoré Uprising. And we are just getting started. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because the world is changing, and this channel tells you what the headlines won't.